He tells me that he's going through a divorce. I'm like, great, here we go again. It comes to third party bullshit. I'm like, okay, well, we can talk as friends, but as far as anything else, I just can't put myself in that position because I promised myself that I wouldn't make mistakes like that. I would not entertain third parties because at the end of the day, you're still married. So we end up dating, and now we are intimate. And I'm like, Maya, what the are you doing? This is not what you're supposed to be doing. And I kept telling him, I'm like, listen, I understand you're going through a divorce, but at the end of the day, you're not divorced yet. So this is very much messy and uncomfortable for me. I explained to him, I was like, maybe it's best that I step away because I'm in a place right now where I don't want to have sex. I'm celibate and I just want to have genuine connections with men. Every time we would hang around each other, he would always find a way to finesse me into having sex with him. And I was like, you know what? That was it. I got away from you. I said, I got to stop this shit because I'm stronger than this and I know this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. I have self-control and I'm not going to let anyone else's sexual urges control me because they don't have self-control. So we had a couple of instances where we went out with other friends and stuff like that. And he was in a major transition in his life, like him going through his divorce and then also in between jobs and then not having his own place. It was just a lot. He just came with a lot of baggage. And that was very new for me. And I was like, is this something that I really want to do? And once he was officially divorced, he was like, I want you to come move with me. I'm moving out of the state. We're going to start over, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. And he built a good rapport with my family. My father is in my PD. He was trying to do police stuff. And he'd always ask my brother and talk to him on the phone. I was like, it's nice, but it's not what I want. It's not realistic. It started off wrong. And I was like, this is just not what I want. But he just kept pushing and pushing and pushing for us to work out. And I just had to come to the realization. I was like, this is not what I want at all. So as I started pulling myself away from him, he didn't like that, number one, because he was like, oh, this bitch thinks she's getting away. She's not getting away. Again, I found myself pouring into him. And I was like, I had to check myself. You're not doing that no more. Gotta step away. But at the same time, I appreciate him though. He showed me how to be more feminine because at that time I was masculine as fuck. I was not trying to entertain no man. I was looking at them like, I will kill you. So I appreciate him because he pushed me into stepping into my divine feminine era. He was like, you don't have to do everything all the time. I'm right here. And I was like, all right, fine. I appreciate him for that. He came into my life for a good time to just help me step into my feminine era. But he just came with so much baggage and I was like, I just can't do this. So I think the last conversation I had with him before I cut him off, he was like, hey, I'm coming to Charlotte. I need a place to stay. Do you mind if I stay with you? And I was like, you want to what? You want to stay with me? I said, block the leak. I said, we can't do that. You're not going to block my blessings from coming in. I was like, yeah. So I had to cut him off. I was getting signs to walk away from this man. So, for example, we would be on the phone on FaceTime. My screen would just cut off or would go black. It was like reconnecting. I remember one day he said he called me 10 times. 10 times. I did not get one missed phone call. Not one. All right, Maya. Again, clearly you got to step out your comfort zone. And again, I got comfortable. I was like, oh my gosh, what if this is really it? Like, what if there's no one else going to come after him? But at the end of the day, I was like, I'm not going to settle. And I told him, I was like, listen, you're a great guy, but this is just too much for me. We already started on the wrong foot with you going through divorce and not being fully divorced and we're sleeping together. I was like, this is just out of my character. And I can't do things like this. Once I pulled away from him, I tried to pull away from him. In the midst of pulling away from him, I just started seeing him less and I stopped answering my phone. I had to block him for a little bit because he still was not getting the message. But we're cool now today. We're cool. We're friends. We're cool. We're acquaintances, actually. At the time, he was just not getting it, so I had to block him. One night, my cousin, she hits me up and she's like, hey, let's go out tonight, blah, blah, blah. I'm in town. I just moved here. I'm like, all right, cool. So she comes into town and we get all dressed up. And as I'm getting dressed up, I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, I just felt it. I was like, I'm going to meet someone new tonight. I just felt it. I felt it in my spirit, and I was like, I'm gonna meet somebody tonight.